Hello, all you beautiful souls. Jules here, and happy Wednesday. I usually say Moon Day or Tuesday because it's Tuesday by the time I'm able to get on to do this video with you. But I hope you guys all had a very special Memorial Day. Me and Gemini just hung out and did some gardening, some cooking, a little bit of shopping, and it was pretty lax. Watched some crystal video lives over the weekend. That's the only time I can really fully alert my attention to people's lives is on the weekend, so I really enjoy when my gals do them on Saturday or Sunday. But this is our last week of May. Like, isn't that crazy to say that? Because I was just saying it was the last week of April, and now we're getting into that hot summer weather, and it just feels so nice. And we're beginning to go outside and get together with people and have barbecues and all the fun things. So we're going to be talking about astrology tonight. We're going to be doing predictive astrology, and there are many different types of astrology. So there's Hellenistic, there's traditional astrology, you have Greek astrology, predictive, and they're all a little bit different. So Hellenistic astrology has really kind of strict, rigid rules where this is this. And Greek astrology only has the 7 planets because that's all they ever knew of. So there's a little bit of difference between the different types, but I like to blend a little bit of all of them and lean more towards the traditional predictive. But on May, let's see, this Sunday, so May 31st, we got a blue moon coming up for us, and this is going to be in Sagittarius, and it is our second full moon. So we had a full moon at May 1st, the beginning of the month, and then we have our last blue moon on the 31st. So that's really cool because it doesn't really happen like that. Only every so often, a few years, we'll have 2 full moons in a month. So that's really special to have that in May. And it's like a bookend effect. That's kind of what they call it for the full moons when they happen 2 times in a month. And astrology is like learning your factory reset. So you're going back to the basics of your design, of your body. And it can help you see paths that you didn't see before that are clearly open for you to ride. And you might have tried the roller coaster and it took you in a bunch of directions and swirls and you felt sick afterwards. So when we can narrow down I'm not going to say shortcut, but the way you're designed, it's so much easier to navigate life. So you have the ability to create from this roadmap, your birth chart of astrology. It incorporates free will, so not everything is set as the design. And unlike some of the other types of astrology, where they can be very fixed, evolutionary astrology can represent the highest parts of your signs. And I really do like evolutionary astrology. That's essentially what I teach because it's constantly changing and evolving. And traditional astrology I really like too because it's classic, but it can be limiting. And what I practice is you know, a little bit of everything, so we can learn, you know, the old traditions as well as the new traditions. And I also like to incorporate a little bit of the Greek astrology, because the planets were named after the Greek gods. And the stories that they have can be quite disturbing, but just, they're very fun, almost like reading, you know, those good old storybooks when you were a kid and you were thinking they were true, but they weren't. They were just myths. So what is happening in the stars? Mars and Taurus is squaring Pluto in Aquarius. That's a big thing that is happening this week. Pluto is kind of like all the shady shit happening behind the scenes. It's the shadow side, the dark side of the moon. And Mars is war, it's aggression, it's pushing through, and it is invaluable energy. So Mars in Taurus is kind of like a land grab. It's money in Taurus. It can be the easy way out sometimes, the unethical ways of making money. And there's a square to Venus and Saturn as well. So Mars and Taurus is kind of like the eagerness to make money. It doesn't matter how you make it, as long as you make it. And it's squaring Pluto, which is the hidden. It's the unseen. So when you follow like a company or a brand, or you're buying from someone, you're seeing all the good stuff they want you to see. But are you looking behind that company? Are you knowing who the owner is, who runs it, their ethics? With beauty supplies, is it all natural and vegan? Is it cruelty free? Are they testing their products on animals? Those are just a few things that you can check in with and question yourself when you're making purchases. Who am I buying from? It literally takes a few seconds. You can go on Google, and I'm sure many companies have a lot of reviews. You can review the company, you can dig into them, see their net worth. There's basically, you can find anything now, especially with AI, as we're moving into a more technical generation. We don't have secrecy and security anymore. Everything is out there. Anyone that wants to find something about you, they'll find it. So it is this duality that we're experiencing. And that's with the Uranus Gemini, which we moved into. And we're going to be seeing this, the light and the shadow, throughout the year and throughout all aspects in our lives this year. So the ethics and the energy part is really big with me, because I like to know who I'm getting my products from. I like to know who I'm following. I like to know their background. It's interesting to me, and I like to be able to relate to that person if I can. So build, build, build. That is what we are doing. We're building. And I want you to build, but not to get ahead of your values. So do things the right way. It might be cheaper to buy this crystal over here, but how is that crystal sourced? You don't know. It could be a slave labor going on in different countries. A lot of that happens coming out of Africa, unfortunately, where a lot of the good crystals come from. So we also have Mercury going into retrograde on the 29th in Cancer. So that might move things back to the home life. And we're going to see a little bit of a setback. We're in that retro shade phase right now. So be aware of where you're spending your money. Be aware of where you're building and spending your time. Namaste, my friends, and I hope you guys all have a beautiful night. Much love and light. Jules.